A web series is a very flexible format, so it could be potentially hard to define. It can take the form of episodic video, episodic audio, or episodic still photography. In short, it's an episodic series made for web. There is an ongoing debate at the moment about definitions. The original idea of what a web series is that it's short, bite-sized episodic stuff made for online platforms. But as the platforms are getting developed, the definitions get more blurred. So someone might have seen House of Cards on Foxtel, which is actually a series made by Netflix, which is a digital platform who has started making their own, well, I guess they call it web television, but because it's made for web, should we then regard it as a web series? Because that is its native platform, although you can see it on TV. So what does a web series have to do with journalism? I think there's a natural connection there in that there is an increasing demand for video on the web in journalism, and that's been ongoing for a number of years. And there's a lot of experimentation in terms of what kinds of formats is appropriate for online media as well. So I think a lot of the operations are similar, and I think there's a natural link in there that with a series you can better kind of connect with an audience, you can interact with an audience, and you can build on those connections that are really good in digital media. When it comes to journalistic web series, there are a lot of great examples at the moment. Vice magazine in particular really doing a great job at piloting this new format and telling loads and loads of stories that often don't see the light in mainstream news, which I think is really important. That's one of the great things about web series, that you can make any story you want and actually find an audience for it. Another series that I'm really into at the moment is called 1 for 10. So it's an American series looking at people who are innocent but put on death row. So as the title suggests, it reckons that 1 out of 10 inmates on death row are actually innocent in the state, and it explores in depth, the different case studies of these unfortunate souls who've been put on death row. And they do it in a sort of a serial format where they take different case studies, different personal experiences of having been put through that process, and looks at it really in depth. So it's like the new long-form journalism. My own series, The Inland Sea, is a travel documentary. So it's chronicling a 10-week journey through the Australian outback. This is what we're doing in the background. We're going to go and visit all these little pink post-it notes. The project came about in the sense where I worked as a journalist for 7 years, and then I studied for 4 years, and then I went back to my old job, and it felt really alien to me. A lot of stuff had happened in digital media in the time that I was studying, and things were just moving really, really quickly at the time, as it is now. So it became a way for me to kind of catch up on a lot of skills and to really get into video, which I realised was becoming more and more important. The Inland Sea is journalism in a way that there's levels of storytelling in there. It's chronicling a journey, obviously, but it's also doing little profile pieces of people and places. So wherever we went, when we stopped in a place, we'd do lots and lots of background research on the place, or if we found out about an interesting person, we tried to gather as much background information as we could about that person, and then formulated all of that into questions that we would sit down and do an interview with a person about their lives or about the place that we were in. I think making a web series is a great way to learn about digital journalism, because the whole process is really sort of head to toe. I picked up so many skills along the way that I didn't have at all when I started. So it's about, you're learning about storytelling, obviously, which is a core journalistic skill. But on top of that, you're learning, video editing, filming, or how to operate a camera, doing audio, designing web, learning how to interact with people and telling stories in social media, a bit of design, all of these skills that are now part of a journalistic toolkit. When I set out, I had no idea who would watch my series or if anyone would watch my series. But in the end, I've had over 2.5 million people view it online, and I'm not trying to be cocky, but I think that's more than what I would have a chance at getting if it was on TV anyway. While web series may not necessarily be regarded as a traditional style of journalism, if you can get your head around it and actually explore the medium, you will learn a great many things that will come in handy in your journalism career.